Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Nick Tan Chats. My name is Nick Tan, and on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about Iceberg by Salim over at illusionist.com. So hi again guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for showing up, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for spending some time with me today. So on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about a magic app, alright, that is released by Salim over at illusionist.com. So if you have been watching my channel for some time, you will know that Nick Tan doesn't really perform with magic apps at all. You know, I tend to find them quite terrifying, quite complicated to use, and it could be just, a case of good old me getting slightly older and outdated and old-fashioned. In fact, quite recently, I was just invited to hang out with a couple of younger magicians over here in Singapore, and I was quite surprised to see that the bulk of the jam session was just about, showing each other the latest, magic apps on their mobile devices, which kind of made me kind of reminisce, about the old times, some 30 over years ago when I was, meeting friends as well to have all these magic jam sessions. And back then we would kind of show each other, card stuff, sleight of hand card stuff, coins, routines, right? Actual physical routines. And, now it's just apps, so I think it's kind of a lesson for me as well, showing me how times have changed, and how things have shifted as well. And it's kind of made me feel like a bit of an old fart. So yeah, I don't really use magic apps, but Shamir contacted me and he assured me, right, that Iceberg was a really easy app to use, really simple in its interface, really direct as well. Plus, it deals with the any card at any number card effect. And I really love any card at any number. My love story kind of began with it some 10 years ago in 2014 when I met RC Wind here in Singapore, and he converted me, on this particular effect. And ever since then, I've been performing any card at any number, anytime I can, casually, professionally as well. There are a couple of versions that I perform. My most preferred, of course, is the handling by RC Wind. I also have a version that I perform on stage, which I did share during my lecture at My Invention X. So what is Iceberg? Well, Iceberg in its most basic form is an app that kind of allows you to perform these, any card at any number kind of effects without the difficult work, all right, that you normally would have to kind of put into it. And if you are a magician, you would know that any card at any number would have three main components, all right, in the method. And I think I can say this on this channel, that two of the methods or two of the components deal with like mental processes, okay, and the third part of it deals with the physical aspect of it, okay, the adjustment, shall we put it that way, flip, cut, whatever, right? So the first two, well, namely, the first thing you need to have in your head is a mem deck. Okay, if you want to have a card just freely named, you have to have a mem deck, in your mind, and that takes some work, obviously. And then the second part of it, the second component, is the math that you have to do, right? You've got to do some simple arithmetic, in your mind. So those two things alone take up some, mental bandwidth, I suppose. So what Iceberg does for you is it takes care of the memory work and also the math. Okay, and it tells you exactly how to do the physical portion of the method as well, being the adjustment. So before we go any further, Iceberg is only available on iOS. Okay, so unfortunately, if you do use Android and if you are interested in Iceberg, it won't work for you at this point. So what do you get when you purchase Iceberg? It's available from illusionist.com, and along with the app itself, there will be video tutorials that will be provided for you in the app itself. The videos are, really comprehensive. Shamir will take you through the history of the app itself and why he came up with it. He will be joined by Jacob Smith, and together they will take you through all you need to know about how to set up the app, how to perform with the app, and how to use the other various features as well. There will also be numerous live performances by Shamir for real lay people, so you can actually see how the effect plays out in the real world and how your mobile device is used as well. So let's talk about the various features that you will expect to have, all right, in Iceberg. So as with any kind of app, there has to be, input methods. So there are currently 5 stacks, okay, that are built into Iceberg itself for you to choose from. Okay, so namely, there is mnemonica, size tab bins, the breakthrough card system, the Redford stack, the Aronson stack, and also new deck order. Okay, so that's 6 stacks. There are 6 stacks built into Iceberg. So once you have chosen your preferred stack that you wish to use with Iceberg, then comes another kind of selection that you need to make. Currently, it allows you to perform 2 versions, okay, of any card at any number. The first version is a version of ACAN called the Ice Cold ACAN. That was put out some years ago by Mitchell Kettlewell, I believe, also at illusionist.com. And the other version is my preferred version, all right, the one by RC Wind. So before we get into the input methods, let me tell you what kind of information you will be queued, okay, by Iceberg itself. So depending on the version that you wish to perform, the kind of information that you are queued, okay, kind of changes a little bit, all right, but not by much. So first of all, they will give you, all right, if you use the ice cold ACAN method, all right, if you know that method, you will be told the card, and once you are told the card, you will then be told, shall we say, the range, okay, of numbers that can be called. Because if you're familiar with this ice cold ACAN, which is, well, kind of based on the Barry Richardson handling of ACAN, you know that there's a range, and the app will give you that range. Okay, it'll queue you the range that you kind of need to have the spectator name. So they will have to name that particular range, all right, the number, and then from there, they will also tell you where to do the adjustment. Okay, if you understand this for the Ice Cold ACAN, then you will know what I mean. Or you can also choose to perform the RC Wind version, and in this case, it's slightly more, free, because any card and any number can be named. All right, so the app will give you the card that is named, that is thought of. They'll give you the number that they have, called out, and then they'll also tell you the adjustment, okay, that needs to be done in order for the effect to work. So those are the bits of information that the app will give you depending on the version that you choose to perform. So let's talk a little bit about the input methods. So the first method I'll be talking about is kind of like a notes app, kind of an input method. So when you start performing the effect, you would open up the notes app on your phone, you hand it to a spectator, and this can all be done with, sight unseen. You can be turned away, you don't have to see whatever they are typing. In the notes app, they'll be asked to type in a random playing card, and then from there, they'll be asked to type down a random number from 1 to 52. Okay, so from this point, you will get information, okay, as to the kind of adjustment that you need to make with the physical deck itself, and there are a couple of ways that you can get this information. So the first way is through your Apple Watch. Okay, so while you're turned away, you can have that kind of sent to you. Okay, there is also an Iceberg app that will be installed on your Apple Watch itself for you to kind of make that link up. And then you can also get the information via audio. Okay, so if you have an AirPod, okay, a Bluetooth kind of a listening device, you could have one of them just in your ear, and then from there, all the information is just read out to you via that device. Okay, the only thing is, of course, you have to have one of those in your ear, but well, it's really up to you whether you wish to use that feature or not. Another method that you can input the information is through voice. Okay, so well, there are kind of similar things that have been done before, right? They are like kind of trigger words that you will have to, kind of set up, okay, for the app. So you could have a card named and then a trigger word as well. So the app registers that as one of the input fields. Another method is kind of like a more covert input method, I suppose, because this one you will have your mobile device in your pocket. Okay, and then you would use a kind of a swiping method, okay, to input the information. So if you are familiar with other apps that you use to, well, inject more magic into your performances, then you will be familiar with this kind of a swiping method. So again, once you have swiped in the information, the adjustments that need to be made with a physical deck will be queued to you via a listening device or your Apple Watch. So yet another input method is, well, as you can tell, there's so many input methods, right? And Shamir has built so much into this. For this one, it's kind of like a tiles, kind of a thumping method, you know. So for this, your phone just becomes like a calculator, okay? And because it's used like that, I think it's more suited to like a virtual performance. All right. So if you're going to be doing this effect over Zoom, you can have just your mobile device off to the side and just, you know, key in the variables, and you know, you will have the adjustment that is required on the screen itself. But my favorite input method is this next one I'll be talking about. All right, this one uses the camera feature on the phone. Okay, so what happens is this: you can have a spectator just kind of, you know, start the video function on your phone, and you get them to film you introducing the effect, right? So you can have them film you, you talk about the effect, you then take the phone from them and then start to film them and have them name a card and a number. And from this point, during the video, you can bring up a tiles feature on the screen, all right, which is kind of like superimposed on the screen. You can then just quite openly just key in the information on your mobile device in camera mode while it's recording video. Once you have the adjustment that you need, one click and the information vanishes. You can hand the phone back to the spectator. They handle the phone, they film you, you remove the deck of cards, do your adjustment, and then you deal through, and the name card is at the name number. The cool thing about this is once they stop recording, the video will be saved to your camera roll. Now, obviously without the superimposed tiles input method, okay? But I thought this was a really clever way, you know, to kind of use and justify the use of the mobile device within the context of performing an effect. And with that video, I mean, the spectator, you know, you can send the video to them and they can just keep the video or upload it to their social media as well. So all in, you know, Iceberg is a really, well, quite a comprehensive app, I think, to perform the any card at any number, okay? And again, right, I mean, the three components of ACAN, the mem deck, the math, and the physical adjustment, well, the app takes care of these two things already, right? Because many people complain, you know, memorizing a deck is tough, and doing the math under fire is tough as well. These first two components, I think, are the things that kind of hold people back, you know, from learning and tackling any card at any number. So this app, I think, does that for you beautifully. You know, it does all the memory work, all the calculations for you. The only thing I can say is, well, this is just a personal kind of a preference, and it's that while it's really clever and there are many, you know, input methods, you know, available for you to choose from, and it's quite flexible as to how you wish to use the app, it's an app that I don't have a use for, okay? And I mean that in the nicest possible way, because I already perform RC Win's handling of ACAN, right? So I do have the mem deck in my head. I can perform the math, you know, in my head, and I can perform the effect basically without a mobile device, all right? Just the deck of cards alone, all right? As long as I have it, you know, set up in mnemonica, I can perform the effect. So it's an app that's really nice, you know, if you don't have a mem deck in your head, and if you're not comfortable, all right? Maybe you have a mem deck in your head, but you're not comfortable doing the math, you know, in your mind, right? So that's where I think this app can come into use for you, all right? If you fall into one of those categories. But if you already perform any card at any number, you know, RC's method, then it's not an app that I think you will need. I want to thank Salim for really kindly sending me a copy of IceCan for me to have IceCan. I want to thank Salim for very kindly sending me a copy of Iceberg for me to have a look at, for me to learn and chat about on this show. If you want to pick up a copy of Iceberg for yourself, I will leave the link in the description box down below. On the next episode of Nique Chats, I will be talking about something from the 1914, and this is a video that has been really highly requested actually, so I will be doing that, volume 1 of it. Alright, I'm going to split it up into 2 episodes, so do stay tuned for that coming right up. But until then guys, thanks for watching as always. Do take care of yourselves, have fun with your magic and your mentalism, stay safe, and I will see you on the next episode of Nique Chats.